Hello everyone and welcome back to the second part in how to create a security camera system in Unreal Engine with C++. So today we're going to have we'll be able to switch through the cameras. We're going to make the cameras look more, let's just say, I'll show you now, like a security camera with like a little border and displaying what camera it is. So you'd have like a board around it, and then you'd have like the time, you could have the area on which camera number it is. So we're going to jump straight into this and we're going to make a widget blueprint. So what we need to do first is go to all C++ classes, create a new class. It's going to be a user widget. User widget. I'm going to add this to a folder called UI. I'm going to call this camera HUD. Camera heads up display. So let's create that. These have now been created. So in the private section, which is because it's private by default classes, I'm going to add some U properties, capitals would help. U property, we want edit anywhere and meta bind widget. We have three text blocks. So it would be meta equals brackets bind widget. It's auto do it for us. We want 3 of them. Duplicate them. Space between them. So then you want a T object pointer. We're going to have 3 text blocks. Text block. And we're going to forward declare it. This one's going to be called year text. So the year is text, weirdly. So I'm going to duplicate that and then change it for each one. Next one's going to be area text, so what the area the player is in. The last one will be camera number text. I'm going to put camera text. Perfect. That's the variables we need for this class. In the public section, we're going to add in a native construct. Generating definition. Oh, I made a small mistake there. Add the U property. Ignore that. It's with the U function. I did spend a good 30 seconds looking at that. Silly of me. The next one's a U function, not a U property. We're going to call this void. We'll call it camera change. And I'm going to pass in 3 variables. So the first one's going to be an int for the year. The second one's going to be an f string for the area. And the final one's going to be an int again for the camera. I've done it in the order they are from the top, so year, area text and camera number text. So yeah, camera number text. I'm going to call this camera. That's perfect. So this will get called when creating when changing cameras. Sorry. So what we want to do first, we're going to do an is valid and check if they're all valid. So is valid year text. So add camera num text. Oh, it's not liking that I haven't defined U text block at the top. Just done it there. And is valid. The last one was area text. Then I'm going to get an f string. Create an f string, call it int string. Temporary name, I might change this in a moment. Int string equals f string, string, and then from int, we're going to get from int and pass in the year. To set the year text now, and what we need to do set text to be f text. Like f text like that, not all capitals. And we'll do from string. And we'll do int string. And then for area text, we set text and just do set a text f text from string area, because it's already passed in as a string. And we're going to change the int string that we've just created up here. So yeah, int string equals f string from int, and we're passing the year, so we're changing the int string, and then we're just going to do the camera text is next, camera number text. So and copy that, put it there. Perfect, that's the user widget C++ all done. Let's go back into Unreal Engine and live code, and we'll create the blueprint widget, sorry. So now that's all live coded, let's create that, create blueprint class, should call it security camera system. I'm just chucking it in there for now. Should have a better file structure, but this is just showing you how to make it. You can have your own better file structure. So let's get a canvas. Perfect. Waffing it to there. No, done that wrong. This one you do. Anyway, so what we want here, we need the year text, area text, and cam num text. What we could do with is having let's add a border. Add a border in. Okay, just a moment. Borders in there. I'm going to set it to the whole area, and then about 0. Actually 50 will do. There we go. What we want to do now is set the tint to be 0. When you change the drawer as a rounded box, the outline settings, put the outline, let's say to black. The rounded box, the rounding type needs to be fixed radius, and then we can have it white, and we just need to change the width of it. So let's just say we'll put that at 5. Oh no, that's a bit too much. Let's say 2.5. So you can, it's got a border around it. Let's click off it. Yeah, you can see there's a border there. You'll understand what I mean when I get the camera in with everything else. So I also need, so the border is, I need to pull the anchors in to be on the border. Makes sense. Next we want another border. Oh, that's a button, sorry. Border. So on this border, we'll go down here. I want to have it about yay big. That's perfect for me. I'm going to change that colour to black. Oh, changed the wrong one. Tint is to black. And I'm going to give it an outline of white. So I need to do the same again. Rounded box, half height radius, fixed radius. Outline opacity to 1. And then just give it about 2. Oh, that's currently still black, so we need to put it back to white. We can do 1 there. And this is where our text will be sitting. So for this one, we could put the camera number text. So let's add in text. We might need to mess around with the size, but for the text, let's just say 01. That'll be camera 01. Or you could just have number 1. Depends how big you want it. Let's get the font. Might have it like that. There's better ways to do this, but with the anchors and everything and the hierarchy of widget blueprint, but I'm trying to make this as fast as possible. So that's perfect. I'm going to duplicate that one. I'm going to pull one over and make this one massive. So realistically I want them next to each other. So we'll do. If I drag it to about there, and I drag that one to about there. Line them all up, I'll speed this up. Right, I'm happy with that. So this could be, let's just say randomly a courtyard. Not capital Y, but courtyard there. So that'll display for everyone. I just need to check something. Where is the... Yeah, no, that's perfect. I'm going to duplicate it again. I want this at the centre, so I'm going to pull it over. On the position F. Oh, on the position X, and I'll put 0.5 on here. It'll line up perfectly for me. This will just be, let's just say the year. So let's just say 2025. That far in the future. There we go. So this will display well on each camera, and each one will change. The year won't change, but the courtyard and the camera number will. So we're going to change these text names to what the next names are. Perfect, that's all done. So we need to add this to the player's HUD. So let's jump back into code for that. What we need to do next is go into the control panel. Where's control panel? Oh, it's an interactable, ignore me, couldn't find it. So we want to add in a couple more things. We need to set up a player input component. So we'll do with that. So we'll put in private. No one needs to access this. It'll be a U function. So it's void setup player input component, passing in U input component with the player input component. So we've got that. We also need different functions to change the camera. So a U function. Keep forgetting to capitalize. Do it all the time. So we're going to call this one void next camera, or next cam. And we can just copy and paste that one on our previous cam. We also want one to exit the control panel. The function void exit control panel. Perfect. And then we need some input actions. I'm just going to copy and paste these in. You have to pause the video and you can copy them for yourselves. Right, so copied these in. So it's 3 input actions: next camera action, previous camera action, or control panel action, which will take you off the control panel. Perfect. We also need to get the security camera HUD that we created. So what did we call it again? It's in UI. So I'm just going to call it, it's called camera HUD. So what we need to do now, we'll do it in here. We'll do it below that. New function. No, new property, sorry. Doing terrible today with that. And then we need TObject pointer. Not in there. TObject pointer. It's U camera HUD. U camera HUD. I've just so U camera HUD, you want to forward declare it. U camera HUD has come up straight away. We'll call this one camera HUD. I'm just going to duplicate these and just change it a little bit. So we want on this one, edit anywhere, blueprint read only, and the category equal, it'll be UI, won't it? So I won't put control panel. This will be class, and I'm going to change this to a T subclass of. Perfect, that's perfect. So for the rest now, there'll be a lot of code in the CPP, but we'll crack on with that. So in the CPP, actually we need to create these definitions, sorry, they're quick. Create definitions, generate, yes, thank you. So let's start with setting up the playing component. We'll do that upon begin play, and then you just set up input components, and then we will pass in input components, which is part of the class, the actor class. So you don't have to make this, it's part of the actor class. And then we'll set up player input components. I am going to copy this in. You may want to pause the video a minute, but I'll go over it dead quick. So 1 second. So you need first off, it includes the enhanced input components, which is include enhanced input component.h. Then you want to bind action to the next camera action that you created on the trigger event completed. The object is this, and it will call next camera. And you do that for previous camera action with previous camera, and control panel action with exit control panel. So just pause the video if you want to copy and paste and put that in. Right, so the first thing we want to do, we want to change a little bit in pressed interact implementation. The first thing we want to do is get the widget, because we want to show the widget. So if it is not valid, so if security camera HUD is not valid, oh, it's not security camera HUD, it's camera HUD, sorry. Camera HUD is not valid and is valid is security. No, keep tapping security, sorry. And is valid camera HUD class. As you can tell, I've took notes and had different names for it, which doesn't make any sense of why I've done that. And then we need to check if it is valid for the player controller. Basically, this is what we're doing here. We're checking if the capital I. Basically, we're checking if the camera HUD has been created. If it has been created, we don't want to do this function, so this is going to create the widget. So create widget, and it's, oh, I need to do camera HUD before. Still make mistakes all the time, even when following a couple of notes. Widget, and it'll be you, camera, play HUD, passing in player controller, and the security camera, no, the camera HUD class. Perfect. To create the widget. So if it hasn't been created, it'll create it, because we may press interact a couple of times and it's already been previously created. That's great. We don't want to keep creating on top of each other. Next thing we're going to do is if is valid, and I'll do it. No, is valid. You'll see I'll do a lot of them. Camera HUD. If it is valid, then we want to do security camera. Camera. Sorry, I'll stop saying this. The HUD and then add to viewport. And then you'll never guess what, it's another if statement, but I need to put it inside this function below. Check if the camera is valid, so it's to set the camera index, disable the input on the player controller, and afterwards we enable input on this. But with this we want to do if is valid camera HUD, and then we're doing this because we're going to be calling the first camera we go to when you interact. So camera HUD change, camera change, and then we're going to pass in, let's just say a year for now, 2025. Text would be Barrett's, and then the last one we'll just put what's the last one is camera number, we'll just put number 1. We will sort this out. We're going to have up on each camera, we're going to have the variables on there. So yeah, that's perfect. So what we're going to do with next camera, basically we want the same code there. I'm just going to copy and paste this over because these will all get changed when I change them after I've sorted out security camera variables, which we haven't created yet. So yeah, we also need to set active camera. Have the camera index and then +1, because we increment it every time we change the camera. So if you remember from last time, where has it gone? Yeah, you get the F camera index, and we're just adding 1 each time, so we go to the next camera. So we'll have the exact same code from the previous, but it'll be -1. Really, really simple. Sorry if it's a bit confusing to follow along with, but obviously we've got the camera change function, which is in the HUD. I'll go back, and then you set the active camera, and it sets the view target to blend, so it changes to the next camera if you can't remember from the previous video. Hopefully you've watched these one after another. But yeah. Anyway, so with the control panel, you need to get if is valid again, character, we'll get the character, and then we'll get the PC, which is the player controller, and then we need to check the security camera, and is valid camera HUD, sorry, I keep saying security camera. Have I got a different name for the player controller? Yeah, SCS, security camera system controller. Perfect, there we go. And with this one, what we want to do is set the view target blend again. So we've got the view target blend there. So we go SCS for the player controller. Then we set view target blend. Target with blend, sorry. Then we use the character we've just got, if it's valid. The next one needs to be blend time should be 0. Blend function blend, yeah, we need that as VT blend linear, VT blend linear, and the last one 0. And then what we've done up top with the swapping around the enable input for certain stuff, we need to give the input back to the controller. So we get the character again, sorry, back to the character enable input, and then we pass in the player controller again. I think it was just up there and I didn't see. Yeah, player controller, and then on this we need to disable the input, because we are taking in input on this to switch through the cameras. And last but not least, the security camera, the camera hood, we need to remove from viewport. Remove from parent, sorry, do not say viewport is deprecated. Just change that to parent. And I think that's everything done. We can just test that out dead quick. That's just live code. We can't jump straight into it. I've just realised we need the control panel, and it's got input actions. So these need to be created. So go to input, actions, and you can have, what is it, down in input action, IA. Remember what you called them. I'm just going to look on the other screen what I've called them. Next camera action. Or next camera. Just call it like this. Duplicate that one and call that one previous cam. Oh, I left the one at the end. And then you need one more, so that'll be, the last one will be exit, and we'll call that exit control panel. Perfect. That's them all there. I've created 3, so next camera action will be next camera, previous camera, and then exit control panel. The camera HUD class will be the one we've created. I'm just trying to remember if we've got everything sorted here. I'll remember, I'll just scroll down. I do think that's everything. Also in the input, you need to put the key bindings in. So what we'll do is we'll add the next camera I'm going to use is D. So click on that, click D, perfect. The one after that is previous. I'm going to use A. I'm going to switch between A and D to go back and forth, go either way. And then the last one is going to be exit, which to get into the control panel we're currently using E, and I'll have that again to get out. Perfect. Let's hope it all works, and we'll jump straight in. It should say the same information for more, but we're going to change that really quick in a moment. I missed one massive thing. I'm sorry, I forgot to put this in. It's on construct. You need to have input component, create default sub-object of UE enhanced input component, and text input component. So just do that, and then I'm just going to live code. Sorry about that. Let's try again. I don't know where the tint has gone on my cameras. I saved it last time, which is a bit weird, but hopefully it stayed on yours. But as you can see, I've interacted, and you can swap through the cameras. Next thing we're going to do is go to the camera itself, and all we need to do is add in some variables. So I'm going to put them in protected. I'm going to have a U property, edit anywhere, blueprint read only, and I'm going to call this camera description. I want 3 of them, duplicate them all. First one's going to be an int32, a year, and I'm going to equal that to 2025 because it's always going to be the same for me currently, but you can change it in the editor. The second one's going to be int32 again, cam num, and equal that, and that's not going to equal anything, so we're going to assign it on each object. And the last one's going to be f-string camera area. Oh, I've done that wrong, it's capital S. Camera area. That's perfect. But now what we need to do is go back into the control panel. We need to go to camera change and pass in the security camera. Security cameras, and then you need to pass in the active camera index, so which one it's on, and then pass in the, and then you need to pass in the year. I think I called it year. Oh, it's in protected, so I need to change them to public dead quick. That's fine at the public. There we go. That's year. Copy that one. And then this one's cam area. And the last one's cam num. So this needs to go in all the others. Just copy and paste. That's perfect. Now when you go into blueprints, live code is complete. So on each camera, we need to change the variables on it. So camera number 1, and the camera could be, let's say, barracks, like I said. That can be number 2. This can be courtyard. I know they're basically next to each other, but just shown for instance. And last one can just, let's just say, area hospital. And that can be number 3. Perfect, let's jump through them all and it'll show us different areas. Courtyard, hospital, barracks, hospital, barracks, hospital, courtyard. You can go anywhere you want. It jumps through them all. I'm just going to tint the cameras, and that'll be the final bit of the video. I don't know why the tint has disappeared. I'll be back one moment. I did make one mistake here. I didn't pass in camera there, so it changes the camera number text. I'll just show you now. So let's jump into it. I've changed the effects as well back to what they were. I've changed it on the standard camera. So you can camera 1, 2, 3. If you want to, you could add 0 in front of it. But you got camera, courtyard, hospital, barracks. Switches through for a great camera system. When you press E, it comes back off again. Press E, you can go back into it. It takes you back to 1. And it'll take you back to 3, the camera you're previously on. So that's really good. I think that's everything. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Make sure to like if you did like it, comment and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.
You only know, bring me what I